We are solving exponentials using logs. So what you just did on your quiz was solving exponentials getting a common base. Today we're going to have to use logs because you can't always get a common base. So when that's not possible, we have to isolate the exponential expression. We take the log of each side and then expand the logs if necessary using the power rule. It will be necessary on at least one side, or there's no reason to do it this way. And then we solve and check for extraneous solutions. So if these are exponentials, are there any extraneous solutions? No. We could substitute any real number and it works, right? So there really aren't any, so we don't really have to check. When we go about this and we take the log of each side, is it the common log, the natural log, or does it matter? It doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't matter if you use the common log or the natural log. You can use the log base 2, which wouldn't make any sense because it's going to be a whole lot harder for you to type it on your calculator. Basically, you could use anything as long as they're the same, because you're using the log so that you can get the exponents out. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which way you do it. However, in calculus, you are going to use the natural log way more than the common log, so we're just going to stick with the natural log, because natural log makes more sense when it's e anyway. Could I use the common log on this one? Yes, I could, but again, it's easier if I just use the natural log, so we're just going to use it on everything since it doesn't matter. And if you don't believe me that it doesn't matter, then you can try typing one in with the common log when we get done. Okay, so we have x up here in the numerator. I cannot get a common base between 3 and 80, so I'm going to take the natural log of both sides. So the natural log of 3 to the x power equals the natural log of 80. Then I use my expansion rules. The exponent comes out front. So x times the natural log of 3 equals the natural log of 80. Then what do I do to get x by itself? Divide. So x equals the natural log of 80 over the natural log of 3. So type that in. Careful with your parentheses. And then, Jonah, tell me what you got. He just told me no. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's tough when I put you on the spot. That's okay. Okay, so we got 3.989. Do y'all agree with that? Yes? Okay, good deal. Thank you, Jonah. All right. So then, let's look at number 2. Got an exponent there. I have my exponential isolated, so I'm going to take the natural log of both sides. Natural log of e to the x equals the natural log of 140. That x comes out front, so I get x times the natural log of e equals the natural log of 140. What's the natural log of e? Well, the natural log of e is 1, and nothing cancels out. Natural log of e is 1. That's why it's better to use the natural log here than the common log, even though you get the same answer, because that's just 1. So I really just have x equals the natural log of 140. And then, Alexa, tell me what you get for that. Okay, do y'all agree with that? Yes? Okay, good deal. All right. So now let's jump to number 4. So number 4, I have an exponential. I cannot get a common base. This is, my exponential is isolated, so I'm going to take the natural log of both sides. So the natural log of 1/3 to the 2x minus 5 equals the natural log of 120. So this exponent has more than one term, so when it comes out front, it needs parentheses. Otherwise, we'd just be multiplying the 5. Times the natural log of 1/3 equals the natural log of 120. So do I need to distribute here? No. I can. Like, you can distribute and then solve from there. There's nothing wrong with that. It is definitely easier at this point if I don't distribute. Instead, what would I do? Good. Divide by the natural log of 1/3 because that's being multiplied there. So I get 2x minus 5 equals the natural log of 120 over the natural log of 1/3. Still need to get x by itself. So what would I do next? Add 5. So I get 2x equals the natural log of 120 over the natural log of 1/3 plus 5. Now what do I need to do? Divide by 2. Now I could make this one big, huge, ugly fraction and just put it all over 2. There's nothing wrong with that. But what's another option? Multiply by 1/2. Okay, so x is equal to 1/2, and then I need parentheses, times the natural log of 120 over the natural log of 1/3 plus 5, and then close my parentheses. So you can type that in all at once, or you can type it in pieces. You can do the division, get an answer, then add 5, get an answer, and then divide by 2, even though we have times 1/2. It just makes it look not as scary. Or you can type it in all at once. Just be really careful with your parentheses everywhere. And then, Tuan, tell me what you get in the end. 0.321. Do y'all agree with that? Yes. Okay, and make sure you're actually getting these. Don't just wait for somebody to type them in for you. And if you're not getting it, then try it again. Now, let's talk about reasonableness of an answer. Before you did any work on this problem, is there something that you should be able to tell about your answer? Like, what do you know has to be true about your answer before you even start? It has to be greater than, but it's not greater than 5. I know where you're going with that. Okay, what has to be true? Let's just back up a little bit. What has to be true about this exponent, the whole exponent? The exponent would have to be negative, right? Because this is one, if I take 1/3 to any exponent that's positive, am I going to get anything even close to a whole number? No, okay, it's not. It's going to be, it's just still going to be a fraction. So in order to get the 3 out of the denominator, I need the exponent to be negative so that it will make the reciprocal, and then whatever to get me to 120. So since I need the exponent to be negative, this is 2x minus 5. So what do I know that the number has to be less than? 2.5, right? Because that 2.5 will get me to 0. So the only way that that exponent is going to be negative is if my x is less than 2.5. Does that make sense to you? So this makes sense. And if you'd have gotten 4 point something, you should know that that doesn't make sense. Now, are you always going to be able to make sense out of all these? Maybe not. But there are times where even if you don't, I know you're thinking, I don't even have a concept of what the natural log of 120 is. That doesn't matter. Just overall, what your answer should be is something you should be able to kind of look at every now and then. All right, let's look at number 5. So, is my exponential isolated? No, it's not. So what do I need to do first? Subtract 25. So that's going to give me e to the 3x power equals, what's 108 minus 25? 83. Okay, so now I have my exponential isolated. I can take the log of both sides. So the natural log of e to the 3x power equals the natural log of 83. So 3x times the natural log of e equals the natural log of 83. So what's the natural log of e? 1. So that means that 3x equals the natural log of 83. So x equals natural log of 83 over 3. And then, Joseph, tell me what you get in the end. 1 point what? I'm sorry. 473. Okay. Do y'all agree with that? Yes. Okay. Good job. Thank you. All right. So let's look at number 6. Is my exponential isolated? No. Okay. So what do I need to do? Divide by -2, because this -2 here is not part of the exponential. It's just the base and the exponent. So I divide both sides by -2. That's going to give me 8 to the 4 minus x power equals 25. Now I can take the log of both sides. So natural log of 8 to the 4 minus x equals the natural log of 25. So 4 minus x times the natural log of 8 equals the natural log of 25. Then I can divide. So 4 minus x equals the natural log of 25 over the natural log of 8. Then what do I need to move? Am I done? I need to move the 4. So I get negative x equals the natural log of 25 over the natural log of 8 minus 4. But I'm not interested in negative x, I'm interested in x. So what do I need to do now? Divide by negative 1 or multiply through by negative 1. So x is equal to negative natural log of 25 over the natural log of 8 plus 4. You need to get to the point where you have x equals. I don't care about negative x. X equals. And once you have that, then you type it into the calculator. This is part of your answer as well. Okay, so get that typed in. Because I multiplied through by negative 1. You have to do every single term. All right, then Sebastian, tell me what you get. $2.452. Okay, do y'all agree with that? Yes? Okay, good job. Anybody have any questions at this point? Awesome. All right, let's look on the back. See, we're not doing all of them, but we are going to do number 7. So, number 7, my exponential not isolated. What do I need to do first? At first, I got to add 1. So I got 2/3 times 2 to the x minus 6 power equals 42. Now I got to get rid of the 2/3. How do I do that? Multiply by the reciprocal. So multiply both sides by 3/2. These cancel out. That's the whole reason I did it. So I get 2 to the x minus 6 equals, well, half of 42 is 21 times 3 is 63. Now I can take the log of both sides. So natural log of 2 to the x minus 6 power equals a natural log of 63. So x minus 6 times the natural log of 2 equals a natural log of 63. X minus 6 equals a natural log of 63 divided by the natural log of 2. So x equals all of that plus 6. And then Pro, when you're done, tell me what you got. Okay, do y'all agree with that? Yes, good job, thank you. All right, so we are going to skip number 8, move on to number 9. All right, so are my exponentials isolated here? I have 1 here, 1 here. I don't have plus or minus anything going on anywhere, but I need to get these exponents out of the exponent. So I need to take the log of both sides. So the natural log of 2 to the x plus 5 power equals the natural log of 3 to the x minus 2 power. Then I bring the exponents out front. So this is x plus 5 times the natural log of 2 equals x minus 2 times the natural log of 3. All right, so if I divide both sides by like the natural log of 2 here, is that really going to help me right now? No. On the other ones, I could have distributed, but I didn't need to. Here, I need to. Okay, so before I can go any farther, I'm going to have to actually distribute on both sides. So this will give me on the left x times the natural log of 2 plus 5 times the natural log of 2 equals x times the natural log of 3 minus 2 times the natural log of 3. So now that I have it all distributed out, just like any other problem you ever do, you try to get all of your x's on one side and all the stuff that's not x on the other side. So since I have x times the natural log of 2 over here, I'll move all my x's. So I get x times the natural log of 2 minus x times the natural log of 3. And then on this side, that negative 2 natural log of 3 is left. And I'll move this over, minus 5 times the natural log of 2. So now every term that has an x in it is on the left. Every term that doesn't have an x is on the right. What do I need to do next to get x by itself? Factor out my GCF. What's my GCF on the left? X. So I factor out an x. That leaves me with the natural log of 2 minus the natural log of 3 equals negative 2 times the natural log of 3 minus 5 times the natural log of 2. What do I do next? Divide. Trying to get x by itself. It's being multiplied by that, so I divide. So x equals negative 2 times the natural log of 3 minus 5 times the natural log of 2 all over natural log of 2 minus the natural log of 3. Okay. So at this point is when I can start typing things into the calculator. Be very careful with parentheses and everything else that you need there. Those calculators that I showed y'all the first day we used these, I actually ordered those for y'all. Ordered them like at the beginning of November. They should have been here long before Thanksgiving, but I was told they should be here this week. That doesn't help us today, but eventually it makes it a little easier to type things in. So. All right. Sean, you got an answer? Okay. Do y'all agree with that? Yes? That is the correct answer. So if you didn't get that, double check yourself. One thing you can do when it's not super easy to type in on a calculator like this, or if you're using your phone or whatever, if you type in the numerator, get an answer, and then do divided by, and then just watch your parentheses in the denominator, you don't have to have 1,000 parentheses everywhere. It just might make it a little bit easier. Okay. You just kind of learn to do it in steps when you depending on what device you're using. Okay. Everybody good? Any questions? All right, we're going to do 10 together, and then I'll have you do one, and then we'll be done. All right, so these are isolated. Take the log of both sides since they don't have the same base. So the natural log of 8 to the 2x minus 1 equals the natural log of 5 to the x plus 3. Exponents come out. 2x minus 1 times the natural log of 8 equals x plus 3 times the natural log of 5. So since I have parentheses on both sides here, it's why I need to distribute. It's going to give me 2x times the natural log of 8 minus the natural log of 8 equals x times the natural log of 5 plus 3 times the natural log of 5. Once it's all distributed, then I collect all my like terms, and I get 2x times the natural log of 8 minus x times the natural log of 5. It's equal to 3 times the natural log of 5 plus the natural log of 8. So what's my GCF? X. Factor out my x. That leaves me with 2 times the natural log of 8 minus the natural log of 5, bless you, equals 3 times the natural log of 5 plus the natural log of 8. Then I divide. 3 times the natural log of 5 plus the natural log of 8 all over 2 natural log of 8 minus the natural log of 5. Yesenia, you want to tell me what you got? Do y'all agree with that? Or have enough of you typed it in yet? That is the right answer, so good deal. Make sure you can get that when you're typing things in. All right, any questions at all? All right, so you work on number 12 while I hand out the assignment. And then if you're having issues getting the right things out, I mean, if you mess up once, it's one thing. We can all type things in wrong every now and then, but if you just can't get any of them, let me know. This is another one where from the very beginning there's something you should know about your answer, about your X answer. What do you think it would be? It's going to have to be negative because if right now as it stands, if X was positive and you've got this negative here, that would make that the reciprocal. So it'd be like 1 over 9 to the something. And this one right here, if it was all positive, there's no way those would ever match. So I need this to be negative, but a small negative so that this one stays positive, right? So it's a small negative number. That's something that I can get before I ever even start, and you get negative 0.353. Anybody have any questions at all? Okay, the whole process there, the log part of it is just taking the log of both sides and moving the exponent. The rest of that is just algebra, and it's the same algebra skills you've been doing forever. Just has logs in it. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, then once you're done with this, go ahead and glue or tape this in and make good use of your time because that just told you got about 10 minutes left to work. You can get quite a bit done.